It is. Isaiah has a good question. Isaiah Edwards, shout out. He says, Lonzo, which decade in your lifetime do you think was the best culturally, life, etc.?
Culturally, life, etc. Man, you know what? What you mean, far as like my age or just the years or what?
Yeah, I think he would just say which decade in your lifetime do you think was the best? Let's just keep it at that.
Man, I love the 80s. The 80s was a motherfucker. The 80s for me was it was kind of my heyday, man, because everything was brand new. It hadn't got tainted yet. We was coming up as a group, you know, in the early 80s. I was at Eve After Dark. I went to Doodles, went to Skateland, started making records the next year on tour. And the shit was moving. Bought a house, bought my second house, built a studio. It was like they shot past so fast, man. It was ridiculous, dude. And it just made for a hell of a good time. I'm rolling in my BMW. You can't tell me nothing. But I tell cats all the time, man, what brothers have to understand is, just because you win it in the first, second, and third quarter of life, don't mean you're gonna win the game. Okay, you got to when you pass 50 and then the fourth quarter, and you still standing and you still can do what you need to do. That's when you got action at winning, and that's the part I'm trying to stress to folks right these days. You can't just win in the first two quarters. Oh, man, I was balling in my teens, my 20s, but now I'm in rehab. I just gotta no. The 80s for me was a great time, and it gave me a foundation, not to relive it, just to relive the energy. And I was telling somebody the other day, right now, with all the stuff I have going on with the Chamber of Commerce, the documentaries, whatever, I feel the same kind of energy. It's like I know what I got going on, and I see it all coming together. It's only a matter of time all this shit comes to a head, and you know, shit gonna change. It's gonna benefit. It's gonna benefit in a different kind of way. I'm hoping that a couple of these documentaries take off. If they do, hopefully it'll lead to a movie, whatever the case may be. But I can see things. It's like 2022 has been a building year. You know, a lot of foundational stuff. And next year is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I got a lot of stuff planned for that, not only for myself, but for other folks as well. And that's never been my thing. I've never been so focused on me that I can't look out for somebody else. So that's one thing I'm looking for, is to hopefully be able to establish some things for some other folks in hip hop who didn't get the same shine that I got, or even any shine at all. So that's what the Hip Hop Hall of Fame, Hip Hop Walk of Fame was all about, as well as a few other things I ain't gonna talk about just yet. But yeah, the 80s probably was the most fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun in the 80s too.
Man, I would have loved to be a little bit older back then, because I heard it was an awesome decade. Who are some of the West Coast artists that you feel, you know, you don't have to talk about the Hall of Fame, go in depth with that, but who are some West Coast artists that you feel don't get a lot of shine? I mean, we hear the Ice T's, Ice Cube, Kid Frost. Who are some unsung heroes of West Coast hip hop?
Toddy T, man. Toddy T, Mixmaster Spade, King T. I can name you a shitload of them, Doc. I mean, these guys, Toddy was one of the first guys out of Compton to have a big record. DJ QUIK, yeah, my boy Isaiah says, yeah, DJ QUIK is another cat that got a lot of love. He's well known, but he don't get the same love that you know, that guys like Dre got, or Cube and them got. Okay. Who else? Shit. You got a lot of guys behind the scenes that weren't artists per se that get a lot of love. Hey, what's up, Sean? How you doing there, shorty? A lot of people don't get Disco Daddy. You know, there's a lot of folks that just don't get no shine, man, because it came in, and so many people did not follow through. It didn't have the wherewithal to keep going. And the game, and one thing about the music game, it never stopped changing. It never stopped evolving. Okay, it's constantly evolving. And if the music game today was in the 80s, half these cats would be a bunch of unknowns. They wouldn't know who the hell they are, because you had to go to a record store and buy the shit that you're gonna play in on your stereo or in your headphones, this shit wouldn't make it, man. This shit wouldn't make it, though. It wouldn't make it, man. It would not make it. Okay.
I highly doubt if anybody's gonna walk to a Blockbuster Music and buy a Tekashi 6ix9ine record if this was 1986.
Right. I mean, you had to. We were under the tutelage of Michael Jackson, Prince, Rick James. Them niggas made you scared to make a record back then, man. You couldn't put out no bullshit with them cats around.
Yeah.
You could not put out no bullshit with them dudes around, man. They was the baddest of the baddest, okay? And not to mention, you got on the back end, you got cats like Frankie Beverly and Mays and Luther Vandross, Tina Marie, Marvin Gaye still living. Come on, dude. You got all these cats around you. You just can't drop the hubba bubba bullshit, okay? You can't do that. But nowadays, all the baddest of the bad are gone, or they've been preoccupied with some other form of legal situation. R. Kelly's a bad dude. When in the studio, I wouldn't trust a nigga with my kids nowhere, okay? He can't babysit shit. He can't babysit a puppy of mine. But I'm just saying, he was like the last one that could set the summer off, okay? Back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, and I know my girl Sean, she could relate to this because she was around back in the day. Around Labor Day, either Earth, Wind and Fire or Isley Brothers or somebody's gonna drop some shit. It's gonna take you through the whole summer. Okay, that was like whoever dropped right around Labor Day and had the summer cut. You had the soundtrack for the whole summer, man, and that's what you rolled to. That's what you rolled to. We ain't got that no more, man. We don't have that no more. Okay, we don't have that no more. This shit nowadays is so disposable. It's hot on Monday, next Tuesday, nigga. That's just old. What's next? You don't know who made this shit because everybody look alike. And it just. And then you got two stages of entertainment. You got superstars, and you got motherfuckers that make records. You got superstars, the Beyonces, the Lady Gagas, all the superstars, and you got the other motherfuckers that make records. Okay. And middle of the road folks is old school now. I mean, we was trying to figure out. We're thinking about doing a Compton Jazz Festival. This is something that we have on our to-do list for the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce. Okay, well, who the fuck we gonna get? Okay, who the fuck we gonna get? We got to go grab. We can't just grab. Can't grab most people from the hood. Kendrick is too big. Okay, Game gonna bring the wrong crowd. QUIK probably gonna bring the wrong crowd. Okay, now you can take him someplace else. It'll be hard to bring him to his hood. Okay, because it's gonna
QUIK be performing in Anaheim and shit like that. QUIK is performing in Santa Ana.
Can't let him because Compton won't let you do it. Okay, so you got to come up with somebody. Now you got to go to the standards. You got to go to Howard Hewitt, Lakeside, somebody like that, or maybe going to the mid range with some Montel Jordan and some shit, something like that. These cats nowadays, the 90s R&B is so popular, they getting top dollar again. Okay, they getting top dollar again because all them cats they just shit again because they are a safe bet for a promoter. They're a safe bet. What I mean by safe bet is because Joe, Montel Jordan, and a bunch of other folks I can't think of offhand because the light is in my face. The bullshit factor is minimized.
Right.
The bullshit factor. You go to see Joe, nigga, you ain't bringing your strap. You bring your girl. Yeah, you gonna strap up with a condom. That's about it. Because after the show, it's going down in a good way. Okay. It's going down in a good way. So and then every city has its own jazz festival. You got to book. We got to start booking acts now just to be able to get somebody, a decent headliner, to be able to book to do the show without competing with folks in Pomona or Gardena, whatever the case may be. So It is what it is, folks.